Good evening, race fans alike. My name's Philip Timmons, and on behalf of Team Goon Squad, joins you on this jolly afternoon from the heights of Stavelo on for Belgian, around 4 of the iFormula 3 season. More than 30 drivers prepare their cars to navigate the 4.3 mile course here today. 19 turns, 9 to the left and 10 to the right, with an overall elevation change of 102 metres from the highest and lowest points on the circuit. A circuit which brings joy for everyone, drivers and spectators alike. We can see some brilliant racing and some brilliant moments here in real life that I'm sure will be replicated here today in this prestigious race. However, for this race in particular, a very, very special individual, Jeff Schroeder. It will be a local race for him. From Luxembourg, only an hour away from the track, he's going to be sporting a special livery here today for this Belgian Grand Prix, so I'll be looking out for him and hope he does well in his race. However, we're going to jump right into qualifying now, as it has just begun and our drivers are now completing their first time laps. Here we follow Jake Potts as he rounds out the bus stop chicane towards the start-finish line. What will be the time to beat here? Oh, will actually no, he'll be starting his first time lap here. So here we go. We'll ride on board with him through into turn 1, clipping the apex perfectly. The exit curb can come up very, very quick on you, so you've got to make sure you get on the power without sliding the rear. Now down the hill towards Eau Rouge, a very iconic section of racetrack. You go to the left, down the hill, and you feel the compression going up the hill and topping it off as the car goes light at the top of the hill. Now through the right kink, down the Campbell Straight. Yes, there are a lot of places where overtaking can happen as you have the draft all the way from turn 1 through Eau Rouge and down in towards Lecom. Now you want to clip this inside curb, nice. However, you do not want to slide the rear about, as the rear tyre temperature you need to conserve her later on in the lap. Car tends to push out wide there through Malmedy. Going down towards Rivage now, downhill braking zone, very tricky to get right and hug that inside apex round. However, you want to come back off to the right hand side towards No Name, clipping that apex nicely, getting on the power in 3rd gear it seems. However, 4th gear may be possible later on in the weekend. Now towards Pouon, the fastest corner on the track. I wouldn't say the fastest, but definitely the most aero dependent. One of the funnest corners to get right, however it's very tricky to get the entry speed correct. Now towards Spania. The right and the left. Not getting a perfect apex there for Jake Potts. However, it is the first lap of the stint. Your quicker time will come on the second and third laps of your qualifying run. Clipping the apex nicely there at Stavolo. Running out Stavolo 2, now down the back straight. Very, very high speeds towards Blanchimont now. One of the fastest corners on the track. And here's the final overtaking opportunity on the final corner here towards the bus stop chicane. Clipping the apex nicely, carrying enough speed on the second apex. But be careful on those rear tyres on the exit. Now towards the start finish line. The time will be a 2 minute 10.5 is your provisional pole lap time. However, those probably will improve later on in the session, as you can see, taking a lot of curb on the inside and pushing it out wide. As Cody Grams set a quicker lap with 2 minute 10.3. So 1.4 tenths quicker than Jake Potts. Now our usual Alex Johnson masterclass may be over here today in Spa, as the pace is very, very close up to the top of the field, and he didn't top out practice. That was done by Jake Potts, I believe. Jake Potts putting up a great qualifying, as well as Cody Grams as well. The two drivers we see up there, but haven't quite got the pace over the race stint to mount up a good challenge to Alex Johnson. However, Johnson maybe hasn't done as much practice on the simulator before going out on track here today. However, it looks like he'll have more of a challenge than he normally does to get that good result in. We ride back on board with Jake Potts now as he goes down towards Pouin for the second time. Down a gear, using all the curb on the exit, carrying the speed as much as possible. You can see some pack racing going on here. So you see in qualifying some drivers almost getting over each other to try and set a good enough lap time. Cody Grams and Jake Potts both Knox E-Motorsport cars. Knox E-Motorsport cars, excuse me, topping out the front row at the time being. We're on board with Cody Grams, who follows traffic through towards Stavolo. However, he will have that slipstream going down the back straight towards the bus stop chicane, so will he be able to make good of that? 16 drivers in this qualifying session have set a lap time already. Oh! Cody Grams going deep into the bus stop chicane, having a little bit of a moment there, not ideal. He's going to prep for another lap, getting the exit, but he won't have the slipstream. It's Andre Salander and Alex Johnson, both Alcantech Motorsport cars, now topping out the front row above Noxie Motorsports. Alex Johnson with a 2 minute 10.199. That is the time to beat so far. Alex Salander slightly behind with a 2 minute 10.325, merely quicker than Cody Grams. Around about half tenth per second. Alex Johnson has cranked it up in qualifying here. We can tell he means business. Oh, Josh Schroeder having a little bit of a moment there. Worming over the track. And he's now gone wide at no name, letting some traffic by. And he looks like he's going to reset. So currently, the home Grand Prix racer is currently sitting in P9 at the moment. 8 minutes gone of this qualifying session. 17 to go. Now going to ride on board with Alex Johnson. Is making his way round. He's still getting a draft from the Alcantech Sport Alex Salander. Sorry, Andre Salander, I believe it is. No, it's not. Nicholas Leonard Schnabel. The Alcantech boys coming out in force, giving each other drafts down the straight. Showing some brilliant teamwork. Will Alex Johnson improve? We expect him to. What will it be? Schnabel goes P3. Will Johnson improve? No, he hasn't that time by. So I think he may have had an invalidation. Taking a 1x some point of the track, however. He's going to have a long draft coming down the straight once again. Schnabel pulls off the left-hand side. You can see Josh Schroeder also pulling off to the right-hand side before the Lecombe section. Alex Johnson, this should be the lap of the weekend for him. If he doesn't choose to go out after that, it looks like the driver out in front. They get good racing car, having a little bit of a lock-up going into Rivage. A very, very easy corner to lock up, especially with downhill. The cars have less grip, which means you can't brake as much without locking up those front tyres. Alex Johnson sticking it in fourth. Wrapping around towards the fan chicane. Will he nail it? Will he carry enough speed? In third gear, wrapping it around the apexes. Gunning it on the second one. Coming towards Stavolo. Will he have the draft coming down the back straight? If he gets a good Stavolo, he will. That gap is very, very short. You can see he's around about 9/10 behind Victor Solano. So he may be getting a small slipstream, possibly. Will Johnson improve? Yes, he does. It's a 2-minute 9.828, 5/10 quicker than Solander and Schnabel. So it's an Alcantech Motorsports top 3 at the moment. Cody Grams and Jake Potts for Noxie Motorsports coming 4th and 5th at the time being. So now is usually where we see a little bit of an intermission when not as many drivers are out on track as they reset, wait for the right opportunity and head back onto the track in just a minute. But it looks like Alex Johnson is already on his way out. It looks like he's with Leonard Schnabel once again. These two drivers working very, very well together to try and get the optimal lap time possible, especially around the Spa circuits Francorchamps. There's a lot of long straights, which means a lot of advantage to be gained from the slipstream, which is what you want in qualifying because every 10th matters here. However, it's looking like we had another Alex Johnson wipeout. 14th behind Alex Johnson. Just lap time, really good optimism. Cloaking that inside nicely. It looks like he's going to be prepping for another lap. Out of that final apex. Try and make a run down towards T1 here. There's traffic out ahead. They might block him in Stabilo. Yes, they do. They made contact. And they're into the gravel there, into Stabilo. Big contact between those two drivers. As Cody Grams' wheel having a little bit of a minor spasmoid attack. He's racing. That one afterwards, however. Fortunately, Alex Johnson goes for his third and final qualifying run of this session. 25 minutes lap time. Magnussen's currently at the bottom with a 2 minute 13.7. Just 3.9 seconds. You can see the majority of the drivers, or the gaps between them, are very, very low. He could be separated by 100th of a second. The pace is very, very close between these drivers. It looks like 5 drivers, all the way from Patrick Olsen, from Ian Wood, all are within 1/10 of a second of each other. All the drivers are out on track now. Quite a lot of them go back down pit road and reset. However, most of our drivers are getting ready for the final run of the qualifying session. And looks like Leonard Schnebel doing a very, very quick lap time there. 700th of a second behind Alex Johnson. So it looks like we have a new driver near the top. Someone we haven't seen so far in this league, putting in some great times already. And up there right at the top. You can see Schnebel compared to Johnson. We can see where the lap time last time was missing. However, Johnson was on a slower lap. I think he might be on a quicker one this time. Schnebel pulls off to the right-hand side. Alex Johnson is released for another quick lap. The Swedishman on the first sector setting a 37.188. Coming out of Stabilo towards Rivage now. Having a 31.2 for the middle sector. Missing the apex slightly. I think there may have been a 1x for the 196, which means he will not improve this time. But it looks like he's still going for it, so it might not have been an instant point, setting a 22.0 for the middle sector now. Schneebel is holding on behind. Maybe he'll go for another lap after. This is Alex Johnson's opportunity now with 5 minutes remaining of the session. He won't have many laps remaining. This probably will be his final lap of the qualifying session. Will he improve further and extend the gap to Schneebel? Both of these drivers 4/10 quicker than Cody Grams in 3rd place. Your front row absolutely killing it here today in qualifying at Spa. Now Contech Racing 196 comes out of the final corner. What lap time will it be? It will not be a quicker time. 209.828 is the final time to beat. Here comes Cody Grams. Will he improve this time by? It looks like he may. What will it be? No, he hasn't set lap time this time. However, he's going for it again. He has traffic in front that he will be able to use for a slipstream. Will he take advantage of that? The left, then the right with a compression, and then top of the crest over to the left hand side. Now towards the kink, down the Kemmel straight. Speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour for these drivers. Nearly reaching 160 miles an hour into the braking zone for Rivage, or for correction for Lecom with the right. Very easy corner to mess up there as we ride back on board with the 101. You have to hook it into Rivage there and carry as much speed as you can without bleeding away from the apex. Now No Name, a very difficult corner to get right. He smashes it this time. Oh, that may have been a 1x. That may have been an off-track point for Cody Grams, and it was. Cody Grams did go off-track that time. It's coming through on the software, which means this lap time will also be invalidated. You'll only have one more chance at the end of this lap to set a quicker time. You see though, he's still giving it everything. Carrying great speed. Trying to find every single 100th of a second he can. Jeff Schroeder, the home Grand Prix driver. He's sitting back in 11th place at the moment. Tiny bit off the pace, 1.2 seconds off. However, he's very close to Victor Solano in front. Here comes Grams, so that time shouldn't go on the board. You can see who's improved that time, who hasn't. Cody Grams is getting the draft. The 41 pulls to the right hand side. Cody Grams is now free for his final chance to improve in this qualifying session. Will he be able to outthrow Alex Johnson? Will he find the 4/10 that he needs? Cody Grams has a clear track in front of him. So now it's all down to him whether or not he can improve in this qualifying session. Down towards Pouon, the high aero section. He can't take too much speed in. He sticks it in 5th gear. The car sticks. Now wrapping through the left. And now towards the Fanny chicane. Pulled off to the left hand side, braking at the beginning of the curb. Down to 3rd gear, wrap it tight. Missing the apex slightly, doesn't matter too much. Swinging it to the left hand side, carrying the speed. Now towards Stavolo. Braking on the curb on the left-hand side again, clipping the inside, using it for rotation, pushing it as far out wide as you can. That right wheel going all the way up to the gutter. Now around Stavelo 2. Now towards Longchamp, the back straight. He won't have a draft this time, however he did have one down the Kemmel straight. So he may be up on his delta just a tiny bit. Alex Johnson's career out on track. He's going to try and improve on his lap time. I don't think he can though. Going towards the bus stop chicane. This is it. This should be the lap of the weekend. Here comes the 101 through the bus stop chicane. It wasn't a perfect lap. He gets a little bit of a power slide there. Coming out of the final corner. Will he improve? What will it be by? No, he doesn't. Cody Graham sticks with a 2:10.227. 3.9 tenths behind. So that is your grid then. Here is the grid for round 4 of the iFormula League. Here we go. So starting on pole position with a 209.828. Alex Johnson in the 196. Alcantara and HR front row with Leonard Schnebel starting in 7th. Or correction, starting in 2nd. Cody Graham starting 3rd. Jake Potts starting 4th. And Oxy Motorsport Cars bringing in well, holding up the 2nd row of the grid. Andre Salander starting 5th. Danny O'Keefe starting 6th. A good start for him. You don't usually see him this high during qualifying. Andy Ray Miller starting 7th. Matthias Guthrie starting in P8. Frederick Larson starting P9. Marbury and Barbary running out the top 10 for Get Good Racing. Victor Solano, his teammate, starting 11th. Jess Schroeder starting in 12th for his home Grand Prix here today. Ian Rudd starting in 13th place. Justin Pasori starting 14th. Arturo Mayorga in the number 2 from New York starting in 15th place. Patrick Olsen starting in... Jacob Beezer starting in 16th. Followed by Patrick Olsen in 17th and 77. Kenneth Paul starting in 18th. Frank Beezer starting 19th. Randall Smith from the Mid-South starting in 20th place, rounding out your top 20 here today. Now there are 2 British drivers rounding out the 11th row of the grid. Nick Marshall, Stuart Gibbings starting 21st and 22nd apiece. John Journey starting 23rd. Cuthbert Babanga in 24th place. Followed by Jake Clark in 25th. Tristan Marshall 26th. Aaron Magnussen starting 27th. Carl Matherston starting 28th. Paul Ayala starting 29th. Jacob Szymanski in 30th. And Islamabad Aliyu starting in 31st place. Rounding out your grid for today. Now, we only have 15 more seconds till the lights go out here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for an 18-lap feature race event here today. This will be a long, long race, a long way to conserve those tyres. Will the drivers be able to monitor that well? Will they keep on top of it? 2 seconds to go. And the lights go out here for Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there. Cody Grahams cuts off to the left-hand side. Now, Alex Johnson goes really wide out of turn 1 there. So it looks like the driver's behind. So there's drivers sliding all over the place at the back there. A lot of drivers didn't quite make the grid as it seems. Over our top 3 are very, very close together. Alex Johnson may lose it here. Through the kink. Neville may have a run. But here comes Cody Grahams. He comes up behind Alex Johnson. Who will it be coming out into... next sequence of corners? Cody Grahams pulls off to the right hand side. It's going to be Schnebel and Johnson side by side. Into Lacombe. The 88 has the outside, which turns to the inside there for Alex Johnson. As he moves past and he covers it off. Alex Johnson now towards Rivage. He's in the lead currently. Schnebel takes a look down the inside, but he can't quite get it. So Alex Johnson now leading the pack still as they're 2 wide further back. Jake Potts is in a battle there with Andre Salander for 4th place. Salander has to settle for 5th. Now then, the drivers are very, very close in that top 10. Such a close train here, as it looks like the pace is very, very close in that midfield. Only 16 drivers, as it looks like, made the grid here today. A lot of drivers going out at the beginning of this race, which is very interesting to see. Is now right on board with Jake Potts as Salander is closing and closing in the number 140. Lander doesn't quite make the move into Blanchemont, which is a smart move. You don't really want to be diving down the inside there, because you're going to lose so much time to drivers in front, and especially on cold tyres, it's a very sketchy and understeery corner to get round. But it looks like the order stays the same coming out of lap 1, so it's Johnson, Schnebel, Grams, Potts and Solander are your top 5. However, all our drivers on the grid very, very close between each other. The draft pack is back again. Here we go for round 2. We ride on board with Cody Grams now in 3rd place as he's drafting behind Schnebel. He's only 3/10 behind, which is very, very close. And if he plays his cards right, we'll have a golden opportunity into Lecomte to make the overtake. Now coming out, he has the run through the right-hand kink. He pulls off to the left-hand side. Here comes Cody Grams to the outside line. It will be the outside for Lecomte. As he gets the move stuck. Cody Grams, the 101, up into 2nd place. Alex Johnson, 6/10 to lead at the moment, is not too far. Grams still might have a chance here. If he plays his cards right, he'll have the draft coming down the back straight, and he may still have a chance back at Johnson. As you watch Andy Miller, as he's coming in behind Marion Barberu, this is the battle for P7. On track currently, Barberu is up 3 spots from where he started. He qualified in P10, he's up into P7. Miller is down 1 and he's looking to make that equal. He wants to break even back again, and he's all over the back of Barberu. Tends to gap coming down the back straight. He'll get a little bit closer. I don't think he'll be quite close enough for the move at the bus stop. However, Larsen, the Shark, the Norwegian Shark is coming in. The man from Denmark moves to the inside line. He takes a look. Chooses not to make the move. It's a very, very smart one from him. However, we go back to the front. Lennart Schnebel coming into turn 1 is only 3/10 behind. Cody Grams just about has the slipstream. About 7/10 behind Alex Johnson. So the gap... Oh, who's that behind? Jake Potter's had an instant. He's spun. He's been hit on the exit of turn 1. On lap 3. It looks like that front right is destroyed. So it looks like he's going to be retiring from this race. There's no way he's going to get that repaired in time. Now then. Here comes the speeds of upwards of 150 miles an hour, 160. Coming down the straight now is Lennart Schnebel to the outside line. Cody Grams settles back for 3rd place. Cody Grams last time by setting the fastest lap of the race with a 2-minute 10.4, which is 1/10 quicker than Alex Johnson. However, all this battling for P2 is allowing Johnson to stretch out their gap a little bit. 7.5 tenths, nearing 8 tenths coming into Rivage. These front 3 are broken away. Solander in 4th place and Barberu for 4th and 5th. However, this top 3 squabbling. They're all kind of equal on pace at the moment. Alex Johnson usually quite easy to kind of stretch that gap out on cold tyres. He's usually quite skillful with that. But it looks like here at Spa, he's not quite able to do that. A lot of pressure that the Swede may not be used to in this league so far. He hasn't had too much challenge from other drivers. However, this might be the race that he's overthrown. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of glitch at the moment with my iRacing service, because it looks like even though the game is set to render all the cars, the game still doesn't want to. Which unfortunately does detract from the user experience. However, we are trying to work around it and find a fix as soon as we can. It looks like there's a battle further behind. Barberu and Larsen side by side. Rilla just behind as well. So Barberu currently leads the pack. Larsen and Miller are squabbling behind. It's a 3-way battle into La Source. Larsen and Miller side by side. Miller chooses to stick back. However, has also brought O'Keefe back into the situation. The Irishman having a great chance to maybe get a triple overtake. I doubt it, but it is possible. Barber is going to be very vulnerable. He doesn't have a slipstream in front. The two drivers behind will have a massive run on him coming into Lecom. He's going to have a big job to do. Will he be able to defend it? It looks like Schnebel up front is also taking him. Ooh, he gets very, very close to the back of Cody Grams. Cody Grams is able to get back out in front. In second place it is now. There's a look for the battle further back. Barber still leads. Larson and then Miller. Still a lot of close battles going on the track at the moment. However, we'll stick with this one because this is the furthest in front and the closest gap so far. However, I just wanted the track to the front a little bit. That gap between our leaders is coming down. Alex Johnson, 5/10 back to Cody Grams. As we ride on board with Alex Johnson, 6/10 it is coming down the back straight. That's enough for a slipstream. Cody Grams will be able to close that gap slightly coming to the bus stop chicane, and he may come under pressure towards Lecom. Neville also very close behind. The battle per second is back and forth here. It looks like they're not defending it because they know that gap to Alex Johnson is getting bigger and bigger. However, he is able to stretch the gap just a little bit now. So it looks like Johnson does have a little bit of breathing room for at least another lap. Before we go back, Schnabel is all over the rear end. Cody Grams goes wide out of the source. He's going to be very, very close. You might see a move into Eau Rouge. He's going to stick him behind on that rear diffuser inside of the gearbox of the number 101, the 88 of Schnabel. Going to take the inside line through the kink and towards Lecom he goes. Johnson moves to the outside line, or to the inside, excuse me. He's going to try and give Schnebel a slipstream. They're still side by side into Lecom. Who's going to be last on the brakes? They're side by side once again. However, Cody Grams blinks. Schnebel back up into second place. We're going to move further back as Frederick Larson's also side by side with Barbaru. He's trying to make a move. Barbaru stays in front. The 7 all over the back of the 13 here. We may see a move into Rivage. Will he have the run? No, he won't this time by. However, he's very, very close. Any mistake from Barbaru will give Larson the golden opportunity to overtake. All he needs to do is just stick him behind and wait for that opportunity to arise. So apologies for the timing tower. Jacob Beezer is the last car on track. Jack Clark is currently in the pit lane. Joseph Mansky, Beezer, Marshall and Randolph Smith are all in the race. To excuse the timing tower, it's just making a small mistake there. Over Frederick Larson, 2 tenths behind, coming into the bus stop chicane. Will he have a chance again? He moves to the outside. Oh, and he loses the rear end! Into the bus stop, Danny O'Keefe goes by. Larson has to let all the cars by. He has to try and make a safe rejoin here. And he goes over the track. That'll be another slowdown. The Orion Racing car of Frederick Højgaard Larson, the number 7, having a nightmarish day there. Moving down to 10th place behind Arturo Mayorga. Looks like Danny O'Keefe is down to pit road. What happened to him? It looks like Nick Marshall has also had an incident. We'll try and get a replay of that and see what happened to number 32 Wolfpack racing car. So coming into the bus stop chicane, he brakes a little bit early. And he pivots round and he gets hit. That rear right tyre of Nick Marshall. Yeah, it didn't hold up very well and it looks like he's out of the race. So Nick Marshall also out of it. Very, very unfortunate as it looks like Schnabel still up in second place. Cody Graham's in third. And move back to Patrick Olsen as he's the closest guy now. 4 tenths behind Victor Solano. This is the battle for the top 10. A 77 Team Banana car hunting down Solano, get good racing. Number 99 will try and look in his mirrors, try and see where he's going, but also not pay too much attention to it in order to detract his racing and keep his eyes out in front to try and nail those apexes, because if you're driving in your mirrors, you're more likely to make a mistake. Towards the final chicane, if he nails this, he might get a little bit closer, down to third gear, braking in a straight line, wrapping it to the right, and then the left. Push it a little bit more. But going safe is the way to go for the Swedishman. Goes a little bit wide there into Stavolo 1. That's not going to help him. The gap is now 9 tenths of a second, so that's no ideal for him. We're going to jump on board. We're back with Cody Grams here. He's making his way through the bus stop chicane. Car getting very, very squirrely, coming out of a source there. Now down towards the run. Into a Rouge, 5 tenths the gap it is between first and second, 6 tenths it is to first. Here comes Cody Grams, he's going to have a little bit of a run. Don't think he'll be close enough for a move, he may make a lunge. It is possible. It looks like he's going to be just a little bit too far back this time by. The 101 sticks behind the 108. Or the number 88. Ian Rudd is closing back towards Jess Schroeder. Jess Schroeder at the moment, he's up 5 spots from where he began. He's in 7th place at the moment, qualified P12, but he's now under pressure from the 22, the Canadian of Ian Rudd. Which way will he choose? I don't think he's going to defend into Blanchimont. However, there may be an opportunity coming into the bus stop chicane for Ian Rudd. Will he make the move? Will he stick behind? Will he play the long game here, the 22? Dives to the outside line, under the brakes, round the outside. An absolutely brilliant move from the Canadian. However, Schroeder's fighting back. They're too wide, coming out of the corner, across the line. But it looks like Ian Rudd may have just about the advantage. If Schroeder, if he's smart, will back out into the source, which he does. He's going to get the run down the straight and down towards Lecombe. The 22 stays ahead for now. It's closely followed by Josh Schroeder. For a Rouge, almost touching. Schroeder gets out ahead. Ian Rudd has to settle for 8th place. Schroeder still in 8th. Or correction, still in 7th place. Getting very close again. Wow. The 22 getting squirrely as he hits the grass on the outside into Malmedy. That gives Schroeder that breathing room of 1 second now to move back forward. Cody Grams only 2 tenths behind Schnabel. The battle continues for 2nd place. Alex Johnson has a little bit of a gap in front. 1.4 seconds to the car behind now. He's going to have a front row view in the mirrors of this battle that's brewing up for 2nd place. It's getting more and more intense by the lap. Once we pass the line, we'll have 10 laps to go here. When will the pit stops occur? When will they come down into pit road? That is the question. Grams moves to the outside line into bus stop chicane. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Schnabel has that inside line and he edges Grams for the time being. Grams is going to stick behind. Now I think he's smart. He knows what to do. He's going to try and stick to the outside line. However, Schnabel looks like he may have lifted a little bit there on that inside line to try and play draft chicken. However, Grams will have the run. 4/10 it is coming down the straight. Ian Rudd looks like on the timing tower. He's making a move back onto Schroeder as he moves down the inside into turn 1. They're side by side going down the hill. I'd like to see how this goes. It looks like we're going to go too wide into Eau Rouge. Ian Rudd settles behind. Schroeder's out in front. However, that may not be for long. The drive from Luxembourg used to defend. Which way is he going to go? Will he go left? Will he go right? It looks like Rudd's sticking in behind. So maybe that might be set up a play. Different downforce levels. Allowing drivers to be quick in different areas of the track. But it looks like Grams, or correction, Ian Rudd may be running slightly high downforce than Schroeder. Schroeder is a little bit slower on the in-road sections. Ian Rudd picking up that time all over the back of Schroeder. However, Schroeder is quicker in a straight line, allowing him to edge it out on the straights where most of the overtaking occurs. However, with this high downforce, that may open other opportunities for number 22. Depending how he plays this out. It looks like Schroeder goes wide, coming out of Blanchimont, or out of Pouhon. He moves to the inside to defend. Rudd will have the outside line. We know he has a downforce to do it. He doesn't quite get it done that time by. Schroeder stays ahead. Too wide into Stavelo now. Schroeder defends the inside line again. Rudd on the outside. He's going to squeeze him out onto the AstroTurf. Through Stavelo too. Rudd slightly behind. Schroeder stays ahead. You can see with that high downforce, he can't quite gain as much time. Oh, here he goes again. Round the outside. Schroeder not as good on the brakes into the bus stop. Holds it again as they go down into the pit lane. Both drivers, 7th and 8th, taking the opportunity. They're our first drivers to go down the pit lanes. We now look at Cody Grams. He's 2/10 behind Schnabel. He will have a golden opportunity once again. Coming into Lecom. Which way will he go? Schnabel defends the inside. Grams moves to the outside. To the left-hand side of the track now they go. Grams on the outside line. Edges him just about in the braking zone. Cuts out in front. The 1-1 is back ahead into second place. Schnabel's very, very close behind. He could try and dive down the inside of Rivage if he has the opportunity. No, he doesn't. 2 seconds the gap to Johnson ahead. They don't want to extend that any further. They know if they stop battling, they may have a chance to catch him. However, they're going to need some perfect lap times here, as it looks like they may choose to come down into the pit lane very, very shortly. As they may be running low on fuel, quite possibly. However, we may introduce the idea of tyre strategy once again. Remember, in this league, you do have to take fresh tyres, which means a whole new warm-up process. And we know those hand-cooked tyres don't tend to warm up on the quick time. They usually take 2 or 3 laps to really get into their perfect operating window, which means 2 or 3 laps will be slower. So the overcut could work in that respect. However, if you can pit early, get some clean air, you may be able to outweigh that and maybe get out ahead. So the drivers will be weighing their chances, which one will be better and which one will give the best opportunity to try and overtake. I would like to apologise once again for the timing tower, as it looks like he's not having a brilliant day. However, iRacing isn't quite behaving today. We'll try and get that fixed for next week. Here comes round 3, round 4. Oh, I don't know how many rounds it's been now, but here he comes, Schnabel. We'll have another run. coming through Eau Rouge. We can see he's gaining and gaining and gaining. Which way will Cody Grams defend? He defends the inside. The 88 goes to the outside line. Oh, there's contact. They touch each other coming down the Kemmel Straight. Fortunately, neither are taken out of the race. However, that could have been absolute misery for both those drivers. That could have been the end of the day. We currently have all 31 drivers currently out on track at the moment. So apologies to the timing tower, it's just not quite behaving today. Once again, not much we can do about it, unfortunately. Here comes Cody Grams once again. 1/10 the gap into the bus stop chicane. He moves to the outside. Salander, or correction, Schnabel moves back to the outside line to cover it off. He knows Grams won't make an overtake there because he will have the disadvantage. Coming down the back straight away on the Kemmel Straight towards Lecombe. Now towards the source. Cody Grams should stick him behind, which he does for the time being. Looks like we have traffic on the pit exit. Who's that? Cody Grams moves to the outside line once again. He's going to use the slipstream from the lap traffic in front to maybe get an opportunity. Oh, sorry, the extra draft. Which he does. However, the tie side once again, though, the battle isn't over. Schnabel and Grams too wide into Malmedy. Schnabel stays ahead. Cody Grams pulls the inside line. Schnabel blocking him off every inch of the way. He's not letting the 101 get past. He wants to stay ahead. With all this battling, Alex Johnson stretches his gap. 2.9 seconds. You can see our top 8 all haven't gone down. I can't English today. Haven't gone down into the pits thus far. However, according to restrictions, these drivers shouldn't be able to do any more than 12 laps on their fuel stints. This has to be the lap they come in this time. Cody Grams moves to the outside line. Schnabel defends the inside. The order just remains the same for the moment as they both go down the pit lane, as expected. First gear, hitting that pin limiter before the line. Now, and there's so many pit stalls here, you've got to find the right one. Here comes Marion Barbaru. It looks like he's come out in P5. Marion Barbaru getting a really good pit cycle there. The overcuts worked great for him. You see behind that, Stuart Gibbons. He's currently a lap down. He's in 25th place. Is the number 47 British driver, one of only two on the grid at the moment. Wolfpack Racing, sporting the all-British lineup here. The only British team in the league. In 25th and 26th place. Here comes Ian Rudd. The battle continues. Victor Solano is eyeing up now. Just Schroeder's back in 11th place. He's also battling with Frederick Larson. Ian Rudd with the high downforce, paying dividends in that middle sector. However, this is the sector he needs the downforce. This is the sector he needs a slipstream. He's coming up behind the Get Good Racing car of Victor Solano, who weaves to the right-hand side. Ian Rudd's going to be closing slightly, or not. Looks like that gap's getting bigger. So with the high downforce, that top line speed, even in the slipstream, isn't quite as good for the number 22. However, we know he's great on the brakes coming into the bus stop. As that gap gets bigger and bigger, Solano makes a little bit of a mistake there. He goes out wide. Ian Rudd takes 8th place. Victor Solano settles for 9th. Here we can see Frederick Larson under pressure. From Josh Schroeder. The number 73, eyeing up to 7. He's going to have a run down the front straight. Who will it be? Out in front, Solano's got back past Ian Rudd on the straight as well, coming into Lecom. But this is the battle we're watching. Frederick Larson, which way will he defend? He defends the inside line. The 73 goes for the outside. The 73 now, with Josh Schroeder on the outside line. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Who will have the biggest bravery? They're still side by side, and they're not backing out. Josh Schroeder holds the inside line, but it looks like Larson's able to edge him out slightly. Josh Schroeder has another run into Ravage. Larson covers the inside. Schroeder goes to the outside line. Once again, they're trying. Josh Schroeder can't quite get past on his home Grand Prix. He's currently 11th place. He wants to finish in the top 10 if he can. Ian Rudd battling once again with Solano. They got the move back. Solano was back ahead into Lecom. This lap, Rudd with the extra downforce is all over the back of Solano again. Canada versus America. The Battle of North America out on track at the moment. Here we go, on lap 15 of 18. And coming into the closing stages of this Grand Prix. Less and less opportunities to overtake. However, we know it can change at the last moment in this league. Just when you think it's over, it can all come crumbling down for anybody. So it's important to keep the concentration up and make sure you do not lose your focus even on the last lap of the race. We can see Solano getting a little bit of a fishtail coming out of the chicane, which allows Rudd close up slightly as he looks to the inside of turn 1. Ian Rudd stays behind. Solano may get the exit. We know Rudd with the high downforce doesn't quite have the top speed to catch. However, will he be able to with a slipstream coming down the Kemmel Straight? Back on board the Alcantech NHR Racing. Number 88. He's back under pressure with Cody Grams. Once again, this battle for second place, spicing up more and more as we go through. Each driver getting more and more desperate for that on-track position as the time goes down. Schnabel defends. Cody Grams goes for the move. Schnabel stays ahead. Now it's a stage of the race where off-tracks may also come into play. As 16 off-tracks, which is very easy to get at Spa. There are a lot of corners like the exit of No Name, the first corner, and sometimes the last corner as well. It is very, very easy to pick up that 1x. If you pick up 16 of those, and believe me, it's really easy. A drive-through will be incurred for the drivers. However, here comes Grams on the outside line for the round 69 it almost might be. He goes to the outside line. They're wheel to wheel going into Lecom. Schnabel beats him on the brakes. Grams has to settle back behind for third place. However, he's going to try and set up an exit. Coming through Malmedy, down towards Rivage. You can see Grams going wide. Once again, showing exactly what I said. How it's very, very easy to get 1x's at this circuit. As it looks like Nick Marshall had into not too long ago. We're going to have to see what happened there really quickly. You're watching Nick Marshall in the 32. Oh, this is the incident before. Very, very peculiar. It's Tristan Marshall this time by. Apologies there. The software playing up just slightly. However, before we watch that, we'll get back to the battle. Back to the action. P3 at the moment has Cody Grams. As we're just about to make our way onto the penultimate lap of this race. On to lap 17 of 18. One more to go after this one. 2 laps to go at all. Cody Grams getting right up to the back of Schnabel. Last time by, Alex Johnson set the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute. And a correction at 2 minute 10.3. Stretching his advantage out in front. He gets very, very close there. Wow. Cody Grams now side by side. He has to duck back into the draft. Schnabel stays ahead for now. Will Grams make a lunge? No, he won't. Schnabel stays ahead. He's only really going to have one ideal opportunity left. It really matters now where he plays his cards. Where he chooses to make that move. We've been watching this battle for many laps now. But it is still the most important battle on track as Cody Grams moves to the inside of No Name there. And they're side by side once again, getting very, very slidey. They're now too wide, going down the hill towards Pouwan. Grams has the inside line. Schnabel has the outside. They're still too wide. Schnabel has the advantage. Grams sticks back in behind. Will he make a move down the inside this time? No, he won't. Grams giving it everything now. He knows this is his moment to make amends. This is his moment to get onto that front row. One-tenth the gap coming towards the bus stop chicane. How will he play his cards? Will he wait towards Lecom? Will he wait to the Camel Straight? Or will he make the move now? He goes down the inside. It looks like he's chosen his opportunity. He's taking it. He has the inside line of Blanchimont. Schnabel defends the outside line. The battle continues towards the bus stop now. Oh, who's that? Schnabel goes down the pit lane. As Schnabel got that drive-through for the incident, he goes into the pit lane. The white flag flies. Cody Grams is up into second place. And then there's Schnabel in the pit lane. I wonder what that could be. It's a drive-through. Schnabel hits the incident limit on the final lap of the race, showing us just how real it is. Alex Johnson with a 7-second lead over Cody Grams after the battling. It looks like there's not really much going on track anymore. We're going to look back to Ian Rudd. He's 9/10 behind Solano, but I don't think he's quite close enough to make the move this time by, because he knows he doesn't have the straight line speed, but he does have the cornering in the in-road section. Will he be able to close that gap more? I don't know. Let's watch it out. However, Alex Johnson, we haven't had much telly time this time. However, with a 7-second gap to Grams, we can see who's the boss here today. Or even this whole season, we've been praising him, how good his driving is. Last time I said he doesn't make mistakes. He made a horrible mistake, so I won't say it this time. Hopefully the commentator's curse won't come into effect. But if he keeps it in a straight line, he will come round to finish the feature race with another win. And that's more points to his tallies. It looks like Cuthbert Mabanga's had an incident. Eric Magnussen and Randolph Smith have just crashed as well. As the checkered flag is coming out, waved by the iRacing flagman. As Alex Johnson crosses the line and wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Further back, Cody Grams also crossed the line. Let's get a replay on what happened as Magnussen and Randall Smith seem to have an incident together. Magnussen spins on the inside of turn 1. It looks like it may have been separate incidents. Let's watch Randolph Smith. So running on board here. He spins it coming out of the final chicane on the penultimate lap, which is not ideal for him. However, we go back to the live cameras. They're just waiting for a couple more drivers to finish and cross the line here. As it looks like Ian Rudd's been able to get past Solano. Ian Rudd finishing in second place. Solano finishes in 8th. Would you look at that? Oh, hello. Jacob Beazer getting loose, hitting the wall. That left front tyre on the far lap of the race comes detached. Wow. Just as you thought it was over on the far lap of the race. Remember what I said? You got to keep your concentration because that will happen. So then, you can see penalties are a very real thing here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. In the sprint race, it may not be such of an issue because it would only be 5 laps. However, you can see how punishing it can be if you don't keep on top of your car. And that is what happens. We're just waiting for our final driver. Could put Mabanga from Team B Racing to cross the line. And that is your final running. So then, as per usual, the Yeah, the display mode results aren't quite coming up at the moment, so we'll just have to read it out from the tower. So Alex Johnson comes home to win. Cody Graham has finished in second place, followed by Solander and Schnabel. In fourth place, Barbu running out the top five. Andy Ray Miller finishing in sixth, Ian Rudd in seventh. Solano in eighth, Schroeder in ninth, followed by Larson, O'Keefe, Olsen, Szymanski in 13th. Followed by Journey in 14th place. That is your top 14. So Schroeder, on his final race, sorry, not on his final race, on his home race, he finishes pretty well, to say the least. He's qualified in P12, and he made his way up 3 positions from where he started, so a very good race for him. I'd like to give a shout out, however, we'll be joining back shortly after this small intermission. We'll see you guys later. I do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the sprint race event. There's going to be a 5-lap sprint here today. So we're going to go through our top 10. As that's all we have time for. So Danny O'Keefe with the reverse grid starts in first. Patrick Alton will be starting in second place, running out the front row. Josh Schroeder, his home Grand Prix, starting in third place. And Frederick Larson running out the second row. In red in fifth, Victor Solano starting sixth. Andy Ray Miller starting in seventh place, followed by English. Marion Barberu starting in eighth place, followed by Leonard Schnabel starting in ninth. Andrea Solander starting in 10th. Cody Graham starting 11th. And Alex Johnson, our winner of the first top 12, finishing, or starting in 12th place in the Alcantac NHR racing car. Right then, as we get ready for the lights to go green for the second time. Here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We're just waiting a couple more seconds. The lights are on. And we have 5 lights. And away we go for the sprint race here at Spa. As you know, O'Keefe is off to a good start on the inside line. But here comes Josh Schroeder having a look also. Here comes Patrick also on the outside. There's more contact. Who is that? Their finger going 4 wide into turn 1 there. Mostly clean. No one going off the track. Apart from one car, which I believe was another Alcantec car near the back. However, we look back. Here comes Josh Schroeder battling with Ian Rudd. We know Rudd runs a higher downforce, so he won't have the run compared to other drivers. However, Schroeder stays in third place. Drivers go wide. Who's that there? Oh, there's big contact. There's a massive crash coming out of Radion on the right-hand kink. Who's involved in that one? That's a big, big crash. Many drivers involved in that one. And there's even more contact. And he's spinning in the air. Wow. That is massive. Danny O'Keefe, however, is currently in the lead of the race by 0.5 of a second over Patrick Olsen, followed by Schroeder, Miller, and Johnson is your top 5. There's more battles further back. Here we watch out in front. Here's Grams and Schnabel, followed by Rudd trying to nip in behind. And there's more crashing out the back as well. Who's that? That is Kenneth Paul, I believe, was involved in that one. As he's falling back. Yeah, Kenneth Paul and Nick Marshall both involved in that incident. But here comes Josh Schroeder battling with Miller. Oh no, that's Patrick Olsen, sorry, excuse me. Oh, they made contact. The front wing of Schroeder getting a little bit damaged there. May not affect his downforce, because it's only a paint scrape. However, Danny O'Keefe has an 8/10 lead at the moment, followed by Patrick Olsen and Jess Schroeder in your top 3. Alex Johnson further back, though, he's off to a brilliant start. Began this race in P12 and he's already up into P5, looking to make that P4 as he moves to the outside of Andy Ray Miller. Blanchimont taking a very wide line there. That could be a slowdown. They're side by side on the brakes. Johnson has that inside line in the Alcantec and he gets past. Who's that behind? That is Cody Grams and Schnabel battling for second place all the way through the feature race and now battling for P6 in the sprint race. Both of these drivers cannot get enough with each other, can they? However, where they are on track, they seem to always be together, battling back and forth. The 101 and the 88 are not giving each other any room this weekend, and I'm sure they won't now. Here comes Cody Grams. Where will he go? He moves to the outside line. Schnabel defends the inside. Cody Grams has an inside line. He hasn't been able to make it work this weekend. It's very close there between the two drivers. Schnabel stays ahead. It looks like every time Cody Grams chooses that outside line, or either drivers to be fair, it just can't quite get it done because the driver on the inside line is able to dive it in on the brakes just a little bit deeper. And they're able to defend it. However, here on lap 2 of 7, instead of a 5-lap sprint, looks like we have 7. Which is not quite the information I've been given. However, that will be the race we're given. However, Andreas Slander further back has had an incident. We're going to watch that one as it looks like the rear right tyre is missing on that Alcantec NHR machine. So it looks like he's limping his way down to pit road. I wonder what happened to him. Very, very unfortunate for him. However, here we go. More battles. Schnebel and Grams, as well as Olsen and Miller. Schroeder's made his way up into second place. Johnson is right behind him. Here comes Grams to the inside. Oh, Blanchemont once again. We don't see many moves here. But it makes a move down the inside. He managed to make it work. They're too wide, too back. Olsen is a little bit... Oh, who's that? On the inside line, that's Andy Ray Miller. Scubbles over the sausage curb. He's having to let everyone go. He gets to slow down. Patrick Olsen might have another go here. Back into turn one if he tries. However, Grams is ahead of Schnebel. They're battling further back as well. Who's that? That's Barbrew and Rudd. Barbrew on that outside line. Rudd takes the inside. More two-car battles all over the track. Schroeder's catching up to Danny O'Keefe. 6/10 the gap. Johnson is right behind 3/10. Johnson sets the quickest lap of the race with a 1 minute or 2 minute 10.8. Here comes Barbrew to the outside line. He has the straight line speed. Rudd has the downforce. Barbrew moves to the inside line to cover off the draft. To the right, back over to the left. Braking into Lacombe. He has the advantage. Who's that slow on the inside line? That's lap traffic. Oh no, that's Jeff Schroeder. He is not lap traffic. I think he may have a slowdown. Jeff Schroeder on his home Grand Prix, not having a brilliant day out there, as it looks like he's given the opportunity, or given the place back to Alex Johnson and Schnabel, and he's side by side with Cody Grams down the hill towards Pouan. Grams and Miller battling side by side. Schroeder chooses the inside line. Grams the outside for Stavolo. Grams will have the run on him. But has he made it a little bit too close? Will he have to lift through Stavolo too? Grams goes off the track to the right hand side. Schroeder defends the inside. Grams is late on the brakes. Round the outside. Gets it done. Here comes Miller as well. Schroeder's touched. Both of them make contact. They make contact again. Just Schroeder has got hit. He's off the track. As Patrick Olsen down the inside. Going to ride on board with Barbrew as he tries to get past. There's a big battle going on at the moment. That's Ian Rudd, Olsen and Barbrew all side by side coming into Eau Rouge. Driver's getting very, very close for contact, or very, very close for comfort. This 5-car battle continues. Swerving left and right, trying to find a gap. As we go 3 wide, Jeff Schroeder is split in the middle. He goes out and looks like he has to give way as he... Once again, very, very close with the contact. And he's falling back even more. Who's that? Somebody's gone off on the inside line as well. That's Frederick Larson. Frederick Larson's hit the gravel on the exit of Malmedy. He's off the track. However, we're going to go back to the battle for first. Alex Johnson is getting behind Danny O'Keefe. This could be the move. On lap 4 of 7, he has more time, so he doesn't have to make the move this lap. However, he's getting very, very close. That move is tantalisingly close. Danny O'Keefe driving a brilliant drive so far. Getting away cleanly at the start of the race. However, he just hasn't quite had the pace to match with Alex Johnson. The man, the myth, the legend in the 196. He's going to have a run into the next sequence of corners. Danny O'Keefe defends the inside line. Johnson moves to the outside. They're side by side. Johnson goes wide. Johnson has the inside line. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Into the chicane. They almost make contact with the wheels. Danny O'Keefe isn't giving this one up, you know. He's giving it everything. O'Keefe is 3/10 behind Johnson. However, if he has a chance, he could make a move back towards Lecombe. 5/10 it is as lap traffic comes out of the pit lane. Doesn't affect these two, however. Ian Rudd's made a move down the inside of Josh Schroeder for P7. Szymanski is also up into 11th places. Who's that falling back? That's Paul Ayala. Had another incident, as well as Patrick Larson has had another crash. However, we're going to watch this battle for first. Johnson's weaving left, right, left again, then off to the left-hand side. Danny O'Keefe moves to the inside. Will he make the move? No. Alex Johnson stays ahead. Josh Schroeder is getting bullied out on track here. Everyone and their nan seems to be trying to hit him. Not an ideal home weekend for the man from Luxembourg. However, he's making the best of it. Currently in P10 as it stands. They're going to go back to Leonard Schnebel, sitting a 1:10.59 last time by, which is the fastest lap of the race, beating Alex Johnson's time. And he's also catching up to the back of O'Keefe. Here comes Schnebel for the Alcantech 1-2. He moves to the outside line. O'Keefe defends the inside. They almost make contact into the second apex of the chicane. O'Keefe stays ahead. We can see O'Keefe hasn't quite got the pace, but he's got the racecraft to try and keep these drivers behind. He is not giving it up easily, for sure. Patrick Olsen and Ian Rudd have had an incident out in front. There's big battles going on behind. I think we have to pay attention to that in just a minute. Schnebel is trying to get past O'Keefe. He moves to the outside. He still has the outside line. O'Keefe isn't going to let it go once again. But Schnebel just has that extra skill. The 88 making it behind to second place. Now then, let's get a replay of what happened. Patrick Olsen, Ian Rudd involved in that one. Oh! Let's get a replay on that. They're going into the chicane. It looks like Rudd just goes a little bit deep. Hits Olsen. But where is Josh Schroeder involved in this one? Looks like Schroeder's forced down the pit road. It's not ideal for him. Marion Barber who gets past Schnebel. What's happened here? Looks like Leonard Schnebel's had an incident. He's moved back. So Jenna Schnebel's back down in P5 and he's battling now for P4 with Marion Barbaru. They're side by side. Once again, we see a lot of this. Battling side by side, Cody Grams has managed to get by O'Keefe. Moving on to the final lap of the race, the white flag flies at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. This is the final opportunity for these drivers to make amends for themselves. Danny O'Keefe, he's held on greatly so far. He's still in the podium positions. He's had a brilliant weekend. Will he be able to top it off? 4/10 the gap now, coming down the straight. Will he have the straight line speed from the slipstream to overtake into Lecombe? As the draft, he has a run. He might have an opportunity, you know. Graham stays to the outside line. Here comes O'Keefe down the inside line. He's got it done. The Irishman back up into second place, showing exactly how it's done. Cody Graham isn't going to let this go easy though. He knows it's the final lap of the race. Will he make a dive down the inside to Rivage? No, he won't. O'Keefe stays ahead once again. However, he's going to be under massive pressure to stay ahead. We're watching from the rear wing. Grams goes wide there at No Name. This will be the battle for second place here on track. Towards the final chicane. Graham's getting closer and closer. This will be a battle towards the final chicane on the final lap of the race. Oh! What on earth has happened there? Massive, massive contact on the final lap. I think we've got to get a replay. What on earth happened there? There's lap traffic in front. And they just break on the racing line. They make contact. The 161, who is that? He will have big words towards him. Wow. I don't know what to say. Danny O'Keefe, he looked like he was in for a podium. But he was just taken away from him out of nowhere. So he's now back. Jack Clark has now managed to get past him as well. Jack Clark is all over the back of Patrick Olsen. Down the inside he goes. Doesn't quite make it. Alex Johnson crossed the line to win as he's doing donuts there on the final straight. He's won both races and the pole position here today. He is the man of the hour. As the rest of the drivers are passing the line. I can tell though who is not happy with that result. Going straight down the pit road. We have a lot of people doing donuts there, which is quite fun. However, very, very unlucky man, Jeff Schroeder. He's not had a brilliant weekend. Very, very unlucky sprint race, and he crossed the line to finish P15. Not ideal. Maybe still fun nonetheless, though. A brilliant weekend there and out. Brilliant action, really. Side by side all the way through. Who's that behind? Someone's had a spin. That's Abe Magnussen. Abe Magnussen span. He's hit the rear wing. But it looks like he's managed to keep going. Running on board his car. Looks okay. But it looks like he's going to be taking it easy around the last part of the track. Magnussen crossed the line. And that is the end of the race. However, results, as usual, do not want to come up. So we're just going to read it from the timing tower. Alex Johnson then comes home with the win. The dominant victory. Another brilliant show from him. Leonard Schnebel finished in second place. Followed by Andy Ray Miller coming home in third. Marianne Barber in fourth. Stuart Gibbons with a brilliant race from him. Up 17 spots from where he started. The British driver rounds out the top 5. Szymanski finishes in 5th place. Or was in 6th place, followed by Cody Grams. Justin Passori finishes 8th. Patrick Olsen in 9th. Followed by Jack Clark. Tristan Marshall. Danny O'Keefe finishing in 12th place. Just taken away from him on the final lap of the race. The Irishman will not be happy with that because he was so close to getting a podium. Followed by Victor Solano. Cuthbert Mabanga finishing in 14th place. Followed by Josh Schroeder. Frank Beezer and Jacob Beezer, followed by Kenneth Poole, Solander, Magnussen, Aleyu, followed by Matheson, Ian Rudd, John Nicholas Journey, followed by Paul Ayala, Arturo Mayorga, Frederick Larson, followed by Nick Marshall, Randolph Smith and Jake Potts, and Matthias Guthrie, both drivers not starting this sprint race here today. So that's are your final results for the sprint race here today, with an absolutely brilliant, action-packed weekend. I'm just going to prepare for interviews in just a second here. However, I just want to reflect on how brilliant that weekend was for some of our drivers. We can definitely see who flourishes under position of pressure and who kind of struggles a little bit more, or maybe just fades at the last second. However, it's great action nonetheless, great to call and brilliant to watch. Now then, our race winner, Alex Johnson, a common face we see here on the top spot in the iFormula League. What a good weekend for you.
This was surprisingly good. Looking how I had zero expectations going in. Like, I didn't even expect to be fastest in qualifying or anything. I disliked this track so much. I really struggled. Like, I was not happy with the car at all. So like how I pulled this off is, yeah, obviously Lenny and Cody fighting in race 1 saved my ass there, because Cody was flying. Like whenever he got clean air, he was catching half a second a lap, it felt like.
Yeah, he was very, very quick for sure.
But yeah, once I was out of the draft and could just do my own pace, and them fighting there, that saved my bacon for sure. Race 2 was, it's like it's always, it's a bit of carnage, but a bit of luck as well. Thanks to my teammate Jeff for letting me pass. And yeah, it was tough to get into the lead. It was scary. I got a bit inspired by Max Verstappen there. But yeah, obviously worked out in the end. So happy days.
Happy days indeed. The 196 machine, you driving it. You started P12 in the sprint race, as you touched upon, and then you were P4, I think, or P5 at the end of the first lap. That sprint race, what is kind of the mentality going into it? What's the strategy to stay out of danger?
I mean, you need to select what risks you take. That's really the big thing. Because I was going too wide up a rouge with someone. I think they backed out of it though, thankfully. But like, you need to select what risks you take, because I was sometimes when I was P4, P5 or whatever it was, I was taking it super easy because I knew I had time to get past them, and it was all good.
Yeah, you had 4 or 5 laps, which is just about enough. Very, very long laps at Spa, but there are also quite a lot of overtaking opportunities, more than other tracks on the calendar. It offers great action because there's so many spots to overtake. What was your favourite kind of move of the weekend?
Probably the outside passes in whatever corner it's called, the 130R of Spa.
Puon.
I can't remember what it's called though.
It's the one after No Name down the hill. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, the one right before bus stop.
Oh, Blanchimont.
Yeah, Blanchimont, that's it. Yeah, that was pretty cool, passing around the outside. It was a bit sketch, but
yeah,
it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was way more than I ever could expect. I was happy just to get some points today. So yeah, can't complain about this one.
No, you cannot complain. Before we sign off, though, is any friends, family, or sponsors you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Shout out to the team and my sponsors: Alcantech, Nima Racing, Almitech, and LXL Racing Design. And of course, shout out to the Alcantech and HR boys. Lenny helped me a lot today by racing Cody hard, but I think it was good racing though.
Yeah, brilliant racing. We'll see you next week, Alex.
Will do. Have a nice weekend.
You too. That was Alex Johnson finishing in that elusive first spot for both of our races here tonight. We're going to pull up. Now, Lenny, a brilliant weekend for you. It looked like you were out there in the sprint race, but you still managed to finish P2. Just take us through kind of the story there.
Yeah, the sprint race was pretty exciting. I had a quite a good start. Went by, but I passed some people in turn one. Unfortunately, I came together with Victor. I'm sorry for that. That was not intended, and actually don't know what happened really. And yeah, from then on, I just pushed all along and somehow ended up in P2. Spun around because like the rear tires are just spinning up. Um, and yeah, and then somehow I ended up in P2. Don't know what happened there, but yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I would as well. Also, Alex, touching on maybe a little bit of teamwork going on there. Is there any kind of team orders from Alcantech to battle Cody Grams a little bit harder?
No, not really. I thought, yeah, I'm here for racing, not just drafting. And I think, despite having some contacts, me and Cody, we had a pretty fun race, at least race one. And yeah, I I think it was super fun. Yeah, there were some parts of it which weren't okay from definitely from my side, from his side as well, I think. So yeah, it was fun, but no team orders involved.
That's good to know. Finally, though, we have to mention this in the feature race, having a drive through on the penultimate lap. We can see just how easy it is to get off tracks here at Spa. Just like how tricky is the lap? Like, where are the hot spots for off tracks?
Well, I think the main part of off tracking is the no name corner. Like if you go camel straight, then the 180 after the chicane, uh, then the left hander. That is the corner where you usually get your off tracks in. If you push too much, you just wash a little bit wide and just collect some off tracks. But otherwise, I think it's manageable. Unfortunately, me and Cody we came together maybe once too much or too many times, and that gave me the drive through.
Yeah, it's unlucky there. However, that's racing. It happens sometimes, but a great weekend nonetheless. Is there anyone watching at home like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. Shout out to my team. Especially to Cuba to get me into the series. I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, and it's a nice off-season season league for me. Yeah. Otherwise, that's it from my side.
Yeah, thank you, Lenny. Yeah, hope to see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Daniel Enable finishing in second place in the sprint race here today. And now we're going to speak to Andre Salander, also part of the Alcantech Motorsports team, coming out in fours here tonight. Just how good was that weekend for you? Just run it through.
Yeah, it was quite good. I did a good first race with P3 after a penalty for Lennart. Quite happy for that due to my inexperience with F3 racing in total. I am actually a NASCAR driver, but well, it was really fun to do. And unfortunately, I did on my second race push a little bit too hard on the first lap, so I binned it into another car. But I hope I can learn from that mistake and move on.
Yeah, Spa is a very, very punishing track as well. The off tracks, it has proved to take its course on a lot of drivers. However, great racing all the way around. With this Stellara Formula 3 car, what makes it such a difficult car to drive?
Well, I'm used to a car that don't have that barely has any downforce. So the biggest difference here is that you always want to maintain a high lowest speed within the corners. The NASCAR you drive a little bit differently, but I would say like the high speed is the biggest challenge for this car.
Yeah, it should be a lot different because obviously the different aero surfaces and this car is downforce, which you may not be used to. I'm sure you're eager to get off to watch the Daytona 500, but before we sign off, the last man of the evening, Who'd you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to like my teammates Lenny and Alex and Cuba. They have been very helpful, and Jesper too in our organization. So thank you to those guys.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, hope to see you next week, mate.
Yeah, see you too. See you.
See ya. That was Andre Solander. Not having the best of weekends in terms of points, but having an absolute blast, as you can tell. One man that's very, very happy. Before we sign off, I'd like to give a massive thanks to, of course, the League owners for putting on a brilliant show. And as the drivers will be on the off week, getting ready for the next race, I'm sure we'll be very, very excited to see where that is. We'll be racing at Zandvoort next week, Sunday the 26th of February. We'll have a 29-lap sprint race and a 7-lap sprint. Once again, it's the same as we see here. However, Zandvoort is a very, very different track to Spa, being a very, very high downforce. Not many overtaking opportunities, but very, very challenging. We'll be there next week. And for now, let's give a massive shout out to everybody, the drivers, for putting on a brilliant show. And we'll see everyone next week.